Welcome, my friends, to Cuentame USA with Moncho Camano. Uh, Here I am, one more week before the ending of the year. I'm still here. I'll be here next year also, I think, unless they shut it. I still have electricity in the house, so it'll be okay. Today we're speaking with Slade Templeton and Basil Oberly. I think it's Oberly.
Exactly, yes.
They're from the Swiss American post-punk Darkwave duo named Crying Vessel. And they are all over I've seen, got in touch with them not that long ago. I love their music. And just why not to talk to these people and see what they tell me about their new project, their new album coming out next year. It's a dual album, I believe.
Yep.
And talk about so many things. Whatever they want to talk to me about, I'll be open to. So thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Like I said, I've been listening to your albums for the last couple weeks. You guys kept me busy listening to your everything you guys have done so far, and I've been very surprised. It was a very pleasant discovery for me, your band. So I really I believe that you guys have a beautiful future for me. I'll be keeping
Thank
an
you.
eye on you guys, see what's
Hey,
going
thanks.
on with you.
Thank
You
you.
got a new friend. So well, if you don't mind, we're gonna talk about your the latest published songs that you put out and the videos and what's coming up next year. But I'll just wanna go back a little bit to your early years, they're not that long ago. You're still young, so not that long ago.
Well, I'm getting
So
there.
you get in there. No, no,
The
no, no.
grade's coming in, so.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. You were born in the United States, Slade, I believe, in
Yeah,
is it Kansas, the state of
yeah,
Kansas, right?
exactly. Yeah, a little town called Hutchinson.
Hutchinson. I have no idea where it
Yeah,
is, but
exactly. It's by Wichita, so if you know Wichita,
oh,
it's
it's
kind of
okay. All
there.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah. So, so you were born over there. I think Basel was. I don't know. Is this a Swiss? I don't know. Your father is from France, I believe. Is it? Am I
I know
correct?
I have no idea how you know this, but yes, you're right.
he works for the CIA, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do a lot of research. So most
All
of it's
right.
really
Wow.
it's
Wow,
really
wow, wow.
wrong. So
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
I see myself as a Swiss. I think I grew up here and I've lived here all my life. So yeah. But yeah, I have a French passport as well as a Swiss
And a
one.
beautiful French language. Yeah.
yeah.
I speak it, yeah.
He speaks even better when he's arguing about people in traffic, yelling at him. He uses French.
Oh, you do that
Yeah, yeah.
every so often? Do you
The
do it
French is his
often?
anger, his anger language.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I learned French when I was in school. When I was young, I don't know, 10 years old. I was really good with the tourists when they showed up in Spain. I would talk to them, but after that, I just stopped, and then I kept forgetting. I only know a couple of things. But French is good. French, I like soccer players from France.
Yeah,
They're good. They're good soccer
they're a
players.
good team. Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell me, uh, Slade, how were you in high school? What kinds of things were you into? Were you like into girls, music, and
Yeah, all the above. No.
all of the
Yeah,
above?
yeah,
There's so many things. Where's there like a piano, a guitar in the house, all that stuff? Tell me about
yeah.
that.
I mean, the thing is, my dad like raised me purely on music. He was a
Hmm.
music collector. He didn't
Hmm.
create it himself. I think he's the
Yeah.
most off-key singer I've ever heard in my life, but he played a lot of music for me and like really cool stuff like Jean-Michel Jarre and Tangerine Dream and Klaus Schultze and like Germanic stuff actually.
E.
And electronic. He introduced me to Typo Negative when I was like young teens and like so thanks to him, I like fell in love with certain styles. But at the time,
Hmm.
I was already creating a lot of random sounds and taking little keyboards that my grandma gave me when I was 5 or 6 years old and putting it through a distortion pedal and seeing what kind of weird textures I could get.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I was raised. I was never raised classically on music. I was not trained classically. I did take guitar lessons for jazz for a while. So I'm not like a classically trained musician. But
Hmm.
as I got older, I was doing the band thing along with sports. I was doing a lot of baseball and football. Um, I had these two worlds I was living with. And, in America, the life of sports is very opposite to that of arts, especially
Right.
in high school. And then I
Right.
ended up getting an injury in high school, and it made me go full time into music. So it's kind of like, am I going to become a baseball player?
Hmm.
And I was already touring at that time with my band. I was in a metal band.
Oh, you
And
were
we
in a middle bit in the United States? Was that like
exactly,
a,
yeah, yeah. I'm
oh,
not even going to say the name because I don't want anyone to look it up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want anyone to hear that. But
Was it that bad? It wasn't that bad.
yeah,
Come
it
on.
was. I mean, we played Vans Warped Tour for a date. I mean, it wasn't that bad. So we actually got to, get some exposure, and it was my first taste of the bigger stages and stuff.
Hmm.
But it's still, it's a little embarrassing, I guess, for the style. It's like that new metal stuff, like this
Yeah.
stuff. It's, anyhow. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's where, my life
Yeah.
changed. I went full-time music.
Yeah. So
Moved up
your
to
your
Seattle.
father had really good taste, I think, you know, all those bands you mentioned, I would really love them, you
Yeah, yeah,
know.
he does, and it's very eccentric taste. That's a cool thing. Brian Eno, he has
Brian
like
Eno, I love
yeah,
Brian
he
Eno.
put Brian Eno in front of me all the time. I was kind of babysat
Yeah.
by the speakers, I guess.
Yeah. I
So,
remember Jean-Michel Gar playing in Houston, Texas live. There was
oh
a
wow,
video that I
wow.
saw. I was
With the
amazed
lasers and stuff,
with the
like with the hand
keyboards, the
lasers.
lighting
Yeah,
keyboards and stuff.
it's so cool. Yeah,
I
he's
also
still
you were
timeless.
I also heard you were like a very Gary Newman fan. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, and it was a really funny
Oh
story 'cause
man.
when I moved to London, I ended up living with his guitarist, and I didn't know.
Oh really?
So like yeah, and they moved me over there, and I ended up living with his guitarist, and I was like kind of this fanboy the whole time, hiding it, like not letting
Oh,
him know.
I
And
was.
yeah, the moment he found out, it was very embarrassing. He's like, well, maybe I should call him, mate, and get him over here. And like it became, yeah. So it was, yeah.
Well, he's still around. He's still doing great.
He
I have,
is,
yeah,
and now his kids are doing stuff, which
yeah,
is cool.
their daughter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Raven, I think is her
Raven
name, and then
Newman.
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep,
I was following him. I was became like a big nut of when he came out with the Two-Way Army before that, but
yep,
with the Principle, his first debut album. I
yep.
was crazy listening to
Uh,
that album. I bought the cassette and I saw the video with his electric car and on stage and
exactly.
going
Yeah.
around. I was crazy about that stuff.
Yeah, no, he was definitely a pioneer. I mean, and
Yeah,
it's cool because he's reinvented himself each time. And like most artists for that long in the industry, for 40 years, 30 years, can't reinvent themselves like he has.
yeah,
He's been able to. He's maintained that.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
One
an
of my
inspiration for everyone.
yeah. So how about you, Basil? You were you into music at your young age, or you were into other things besides music?
Good question. My dad always had like lots of guitars and played the guitar to
Hmm.
me and I just remember him playing his like 12 string guitar, I think it was, yeah, that the one with a lot of strings, yeah, 12 string
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
Yeah,
Very.
and yeah, and he's like my dad is more like the folk hippie type of guy, but still he
Hmm.
introduced me to all this world and what's most like two things that are really important for I think my music development later on in my life is that he when I was 3 years old he just like gave me this drum set and,
Hmm.
and that
Okay.
that was the beginning of everything
Okay.
and second of all he took me to festivals, to music festivals, to bigger music festivals in Switzerland where
Hmm.
I discovered like all these bands for me this was like crazy, right? Like this music and I always wanted to be like that and I think that's yeah, those two things sparked everything.
Yeah. You are a cinematographer, I guess we could say, right?
Yeah.
So were you
Yeah.
a cinematographer before being a musician? Or where are you first? Well,
I played the drums way before. As I said, I played the drums since I'm 3 years old, and then like when I was in
hmm.
school, I played in all those like school bands, and at first I sung actually in those bands. Yeah, never
What?
told
Oh,
you.
you
Yeah,
did.
I never knew
yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. I had this like
You
one
sang.
thing where I like
I,
had to like,
what?
or I sang like Elvis. That was nice. Anyhow, but
I
I
got new
can't
vegetables.
really remember the lyrics, so then I went to something more. Um, physical like the drums. Um,
So when you guys first met, you never told him that you could sing?
He never told me no.
I can't sing. That's the truth.
You can.
Just did in school. Anyhow,
Oh, that's yeah.
yeah, no, but I think the the filmmaking came later. Yeah, so I played the drums way before. Yeah.
Oh, that one. So you were a drummer before being a. So you came out of the University of the Arts in Lucerne in
In Lucerne,
Switzerland?
Switzerland, yes, I studied film in Lucerne, and yeah,
Hmm. Are
exactly.
you living in Switzerland right now, right? Is it
Yes,
Bern in the
yes, yes,
capital?
yes,
It's the
yes,
capital.
exactly, yes. We both do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in Bern, yeah.
Yeah. You guys, Slade, do you travel back to the United States often, or it's been a while?
Yeah, I didn't during COVID, of course, not very much
Right.
for like 3 or 4 years. But I still go back in January. I always go for music business at NAM in LA.
Oh, in LA,
I'll be there
yeah,
again in
big, yeah.
January. So I go for that, and then I go to see my family once in a while too. Like we'll be going in April with my daughter and my wife, so that's really cool. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I try to get there like once a year. So,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
What are you, Bas? Do you go to the United? Have you ever been to the United States,
I've actually
Basil?
never been to the United
Yeah,
States of America.
maybe
Yeah.
you should come before the January.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Do it quick.
yeah,
Yeah, no, but hopefully we'll get there
yeah,
sometime. Yeah. Either with the band or just
yeah.
like for me, I mean, it's a huge, beautiful country that I really would like to visit and to
Yeah,
see.
it's a very large country, From
Yeah.
from uh, you could go
Yeah.
to Alaska or Florida. It's a big difference. So how
Yeah.
did you guys met the first time? Because
It was actually
uh,
in this
It's actually
studio.
in this studio. It's like it was
Yeah.
probably
where you
here.
mean in the studio? Who
Yeah.
called
I think
you?
Slade
Yeah.
sat here
I
when I
literally was
met him.
sitting here and he
Yeah,
walked in that door.
yeah.
But this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10 years ago. So at the time, so this studio we're in right now is called Influx Studios. I'm a co-owner here and
Right.
yeah, and
Okay.
record producer and engineer. So that's like my main job
Right.
in the music industry, is a record producer engineer. He at the time was working with, was he an ex-band mate or just a friend?
I played music with him
Yeah.
before, yeah, but it was like
This guy
yeah,
called David was here recording his album,
yeah.
and I was
Okay.
producing him or engineering him. I don't remember one of the two. And he was doing filming
Yeah,
for the studio sesh.
he asked me
Oh, okay.
to film like the studio
Yeah.
sessions to do like ads or
Yeah.
yeah and to like stuff out of this. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he knew that I was like doing trip hop style music, and we started talking about trip hop music, and we both love trip hop and like Massive Attack and like all the Bristol stuff,
Right.
Uncle and all this. And we started talking about it, and he's like, "Hey, if you ever need a drummer, let me know." And at that
No,
point, like,
because you said hey, I have this like small side project thingy. I don't really like I just do this out of my home studio and I just leave
Yeah.
it there because yeah, I don't know and I okay, show me and I listened to this and I was like, wow, okay, this is right up my alley. Like that's just what I feel, right? And
yeah.
Right.
I told
And
him,
then
yeah,
and then it got even more interesting because then we actually did the Killing Time music video together.
true.
So
Oh, okay.
so I brought him on for Killing Time, which is kind of the first. It's
Yeah.
not the first album, but it is like a beautiful curse. Is to me is where we started working together and like where Crying Vessel became what Crying Vessel is, kind of
Mm-hmm.
compact into one nutshell.
Right.
Before that was like experimental albums. Like I was going all over the place and uh, freedom of expression. And him and I though started working on Killing Time video, and he still was like, "Hey, if you want to take this live, which I think you should, I can drum for you." And I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, and doing the whole live thing, blah, blah. And we went to the rehearsal space. And like, as soon as he started playing on Killing Time, I was like,
Hmm.
holy shit, he's like a machine. Like, he's like, and not only was he on like so well, he put his own touch onto it. And then I was like, now I need him in the studio too. So
Hmm.
then we started like,
Yeah.
yeah. And at that point, we became a duo. And I
So
was
it's
like,
like,
you know what? It's going to be face fronting, face front all us as a duo in the studio and stuff. We'll sit down together and write the stuff.
hmm.
Even if I came with drum ideas, he would redo them into what he would do. I would just do it so I could play some guitar, whatever, if he wasn't around that day.
Hmm.
But then he would lay down. We would hit the rehearsal space, and at that point, come up with our concepts, just jamming. and then record them down and take them into loops and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and also working with you, I think um I don't know. I feel like you're listening to me when I have like ideas and stuff, and
always,
that's
yeah,
just really, really, really awesome
yeah.
working with you because we can really like um I don't know how to say this in English, but we
Go,
can like
yeah.
go up together,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah,
Build
that's
off each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we inspire each other in that way. And the coolest thing is like, I mean, for instance, the attitude he gives through just drums on a song where I'm only have maybe laid a synth down,
Hmm.
immediately just completely starts to write itself. It becomes an emotional direction
Hmm.
that I never would have done on my own. And yeah, so we work
Right.
really well together. It's like the musicianship, along with being best friends, like it's all there, and we
Like
just
a
lay it out.
was a perfect match. I guess you
It
guys
was,
didn't.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
So what has
But this is the love story if you want to know.
yeah, I don't know, man. Everything sounds so peachy keen, I guess. I don't know. What was what has Basil given you then, Slay, as a person and also as a music artist that you felt you were like in deficit, like or incomplete or wanting?
For sure. I think the biggest thing is immediate feedback. Like when you're by yourself and in your own bubble, and since I'm also an
Yeah.
engineer, like you go into the writing phase and you go into the mixing phase and then the mastering phase and it's out, and you're so by the end uncertain
Hmm.
in so many aspects that as an artist, you're kind of just like, and it's because I come from EDM and dance music before. So like
Hmm.
in EDM and dance, you do it all yourself most of the time. I
Right.
mean, and when I was doing that into the more artistic visions of singing and guitar and live instruments and emotion and lyrics, I never had someone there that like could help me make these ideas into a
Hmm.
place that I'm confident. So confidence is like a big
Come.
one, confidence.
Yeah.
And then also to alter my perception, take me outside the box. I get into a bubble, whether even with lyrics, like he
Right.
would say, why don't we try this? Why don't we go over here? Or yeah,
Yeah,
try an octave.
I think I can be like totally 100% honest with
Yeah,
you all the time, and I
Right.
think yeah, that's I think that's the value that we have. We are
absolutely.
just because we're so good friends, we can
Yeah.
tell each other everything, and
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what makes it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's important for all bands. And I mean, I
Right.
see it here in the studio with bands that come in and like you can tell by the end of the record, like if they really got along outside the
Yeah.
studio or not. And also like it bleeds into the music,
So
and like you can
y-
that
yeah, you
synergy.
can.
So
I guess you can also tell if they're gonna. You think they're gonna last, or say these people are gonna be.
yeah,
They're going nowhere because they don't
yeah.
really get
And it
along.
breaks
Yeah.
my heart because I mean, some of you
Yeah.
just know. And I mean, after that album, when they leave the studio, I can literally turn to my assistant and say, "This is gonna be the last album." Like you can just
Right.
tell, and it is. I'm 90% of the time. Usually when I call that, you can tell,
Yeah.
and then they're done after that. But yeah, so with us, I mean, and the cool thing is, we're so. One thing he's really taught me too is I'm really hard on myself and like a really obsessive in the way that I want things done, and like I get stubborn, and he really gets me into the point of have fun. Like that's
Right.
Yeah.
we used to tour at the beginning of touring. I would be so freaking stressed of perfectionism. Like everything needed to be so perfect from every note,
Right.
to every delivery, to every click. And like he taught me to just step back and like,
You enjoy what
oh,
you're doing, right?
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
changed a lot for me in the last 3 or 4 years because of that. So now we just have fun. And then all of a sudden we like, for instance, the new Dual Disc album, 20 songs, and that's us
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah, that's
That's
the thing I think
it.
with that because we both fortunately don't have to rely on this project for
Yeah.
money.
Right.
So we really are in the privileged position of just doing what we like to do and
Yep.
not caring too
Yep.
much about what would bring money
Exactly.
or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's I think that's a great privilege, but it's also like I think you can really
Right.
see,
Yeah,
I
I can
like
tell that you guys are rowing in the same direction. I guess we could say your vessel is moving on the same path. The vessel
wow.
is moving on the same path. Yeah, I guess. Uh, most of all you, I don't know if all of your videos are directed by you, Basil. Are you directed and produced by you? All of them? Some of
So no,
them?
not all of them. No, we have. I mean, we can talk about the ones that I did. I did a few of them, of
Hmm.
course, and but we also have. We can say it's like our third band member,
Yeah,
Fabio.
Okay.
Fabio
Okay.
Rincones.
He does a lot for us. He lives in Venezuela, and we've
Hmm.
like since we play together. He has always been around us,
Yeah.
always like did
Hmm.
visual content for us, and also
Yeah.
after a while, of course, also like a lot of music videos.
Hmm.
I would say it's maybe half half with the music
Okay.
videos.
Mhm.
I do half of them, and Fabio does the other half.
Yeah. And then there's some collaborative ones, like The Second Sleep. We have a new one called The Fifth Circle
That
that
will come out
that will
in
come out in
January.
January.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's with Fabio and him together. And like Fabio, really, like you say, he's like the third member to us. He's our art director too, in a way. And he
Hmm.
has his aesthetic, Basil does, as a video guy. And then Fabio not only is like kind of involved with the video side, but he also does our artwork and works with us on the visual aspect of what Crime Vessel is.
Okay.
And the story with Fabio is really funny because when I first started Crime Vessel, he was listening to the music and he was a fan of the music. But I ran into his sculpture work. He's a sculpture artist. And I was like,
Okay.
holy shit, like this is exactly the sculpture stuff I loved doing when I was a sculpture artist back in school. So like we had this thing that was like this once again synergy, but he
Right.
was never like the music side. It was like the visual side. So when we started working together with him, it just once again it was like a perfect harmony of like what visually appealing works with Crying Vessel, how
Hmm.
Basil and him can work together on the visual aspect, and then Basil pulls into more of this cinematic like more sci-fi kind of,
Yeah, I
elegance,
did the music video for The Abyss.
the
I did
abyss,
the music video for
Right.
falling in love
Fall in
with a
Love with a
ghost,
Ghost, and then
Right. I seen those
helping hand,
videos.
a helping
A
hand
Helping Hand.
with
Yeah,
the
of course,
witch.
the
Yeah,
Helping Hand.
yeah,
Yes, that was, I think it was the biggest
that's the
one
biggest one. Yeah,
that we did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I watch. There's a lot of videos. I
yeah,
spent a lot of time watching all those videos. Left for Dead,
yeah,
Blossom.
yeah,
yeah.
Uh,
And those two
oh,
are Fabio. Left
yeah.
for Dead
yeah,
and Blossom
And
are
Blossom
Fabio.
for
they're
Fabio.
really interesting. I spend a lot of time watching your videos. To tell you the truth, a lot of times I go into different bands. They got a lot of, but their videos, they're okay, but they're nothing really. You can like a metal band. You could see they're playing in the forest, and
Norwegian death metal band up in the
Yeah,
forest like
yeah,
punk.
I know where you're going with that. Yeah, of course, it's
it's so
it's
many of
far,
them
man.
doing the same
Yeah,
thing. It's like nothing
yeah,
new. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I know it's cheaper to make it that way, but whatever.
yeah.
But your videos keep me busy, like watching something, it's like a movie or something. So they're very
Well,
interesting and charismatic, and they're like mysterious and dark. So it's a lot of stuff there, and you got to pay
we kind
attention.
of
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of focused on building a universe, and like I'm really into horror music. I mean, horror movies, and I always
Right.
music from horror films and like this kind of world. So like me as an artist, of course, naturally I want to gravitate towards horror. He's actually not really into horror as far as watching movies, but he still
Yeah.
respects it and loves it. So it kind of once again blends the worlds of like where it could be
Yeah.
on a tip without I make things too dark or too obscene, and then he can kind of bring it back in. Well, what we've done with the universe really is like that.
Yeah.
It's beautifully dark. And like
Yeah.
Right.
that's kind of the aesthetic is like building this universe between the lyrics, the notation of the music, to the visual aspect of being like you step into the world of Crying Vessel, of being this
Right.
romantic, dark world that's between life and death. And that's,
Yeah, and there's
you know,
also like in this world we also like had like symbols and little hidden things that like follow through all the music videos. You will
yeah,
see
Right.
a few things all through
you know.
a lot of the music videos. Yeah.
The new
Yeah.
album especially, it's crazy. And it wasn't even on purpose. Like the between the videos, some of it was just completely accidental. For instance, we have a video that we shot ourselves here in Bern for What It's Worth, and
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
us as vampires. Well, suddenly in the next video, Fabio's in Venezuela filming, and a bat, while they're filming, flies into scene, and he captured it, and like he just happened
Really?
to get an actual bat. So
Oh,
like, and
Yeah,
okay.
it's out there to
it's
see.
little
Yeah.
It's in
things
the
like this, like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I heard the last songs you published, like Until Dawn,
Yeah.
uh, is when that song belongs to which album of the two? Is it the first album? The
Until
first
Dawn is actually on the Maiden, right?
on the Maiden
No,
album?
on
No,
the Servant.
the light
That's
one.
why he did
Yeah.
two Servants
Yeah. Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Until Dawn's the darkest one on Servant.
Right.
Written. It was originally written for the Maiden, but what we end up doing, and this is an interesting fact, what we end up doing to separate the two albums, if you focus on the drums,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
got a rock kit on the Maiden, and we got electro
Oh, okay.
EDM style like drum samples and TR 707s and 808s and stuff over on the Servant. So the drums actually dictated where these two worlds went. And
Okay.
that one was a little too electronic to get over on the Maiden side. So we brought it over on at the very last moment, like after everything was mastered, we brought it over to the Servant. So yeah, that's on the Servant.
So the first album is more like melodic, I guess, more pleasant to the ear, I guess we could
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Pleasant to the ear. I don't know, but
Is
yeah,
it?
it's
I don't
gonna it's
know.
gonna be more. I think
Easy to follow, maybe? I don't
dancier.
know.
I
More
think
dancier.
dancier.
Yeah,
I think that's what's.
the Servant's more dancey, less cinematic in a way, more pop focused, more easy listening on things. It's also more romantic in the way of lyrics, and also the singing style. I went lower in range, more on
Mm,
my lower range and
right.
bigger operatic kind of chorus. And it's funny the way we did that too, because on the Maiden side, which actually goes way heavier, a lot of halftime, heavier guitars. Vocally, I went opposite. I went head voice. I
Hmm.
went back, and I also went slower, way less words.
Oh,
A little
okay.
bit trip hoppy at times, kind of back to our roots of why we met.
Yeah, but
Like,
you also find like the darkest songs that we've ever done on that album. Yeah.
yeah, some of the darkest. The Fifth Circle that comes out here in 2025, like around the pre-order date, that's the heaviest song we've ever done. I mean,
Hmm.
it's industrial in a way.
Okay.
So yeah,
So it's
yeah.
more like a gloomy mood, more emotional, I guess we could
Yeah, a
say.
lot of distortion,
Yeah.
heavier. The chorus still opens up like how it's expected with Crime Vessel, but the verses are completely something else. I mean, it's like, yeah,
So I guess each album has its own personality, I guess.
yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
And
yeah.
that was kind of a creative choice we purposely made too, is we wanted to really focus that Crime Vessel is known for two different styles, and our two
Right,
albums that we did on Cleopatra, we started noticing that when we were on Cleopatra Records.
right.
We started noticing that some songs people were literally calling us like gloom doom, and like if David Bowie did doom metal and like this kind of thing, like Left for Dead, and like, and I was
Hmm.
like, that's quite cool to see the fan base starting to twist into like we have a world of dark listeners and industrial listeners, but then we also have a world that wants the poppier side of us that's more for dance club and like the cold wave post-punk side.
Hmm.
I was like, why deny that we do both and
Right.
instead isolate the two and show that we can do both full on,
Yeah, because
you know?
we did all these tracks
Yeah.
before we decided to
Yeah.
separate them. So we had them
Hmm.
and we were, okay, like, well, we have a lot of songs.
Yeah.
What would be like the journey? But then we were like, no, this is actually
Our
about
worlds. Yeah.
the world. So
And
So,
then the label came up with the great concept instead of doing a typical dual disc that's together,
right,
instead doing two separate releases too as an album. So like the Sepulchre's The Maiden and Sepulchre's The Servant being
right,
two entirely separate discs and releases. So if people want the heavy side of Crime Vessel, they can choose that. If they want the light, poppy, or cold wave side, they can do that. Or they can combine the two as a bundle, like if they
right.
buy the vinyl or a
Well,
CD.
the two albums should be good, depending how you feel on that day, you can listen to.
Exactly. After January, I'm sure the Maiden's going to be the one everyone
Yeah,
listens to.
I'll take a look at that one. I believe that's what I'll be doing for who knows
Yeah.
for 4 years, maybe or more.
Exactly. For 4 years, it'll be the Maiden.
Maybe 8 years. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So when you do your writing, do you have like a fixed idea on certain things you want to talk about, or it just comes out of nowhere, like like magic, and just whatever it comes, I'll just put
Yeah.
down
So
on
we've
paper.
ain't
done.
nobody and nothing about magic. Yeah, but
Yeah. We've done a couple times that we actually wrote with the on the last album, we wrote with the visual content in mind. Like he came
Okay.
up with some concept for visual, and then I went there with the lyrics too.
Mm,
This whole album, we had a subject matter of ghosts and
okay.
kind of losing loved ones that become a ghost, or the spirit comes back, or the spirit that's internal with relationships, the spirit of the relationship dies. This kind of world of ethereal, and that's kind of why we call it sepulchres, which means like it's a tomb. So like
Right.
in the tomb of life, and like so we encompass that between all songs with this, and then we kind of spun off with different kind of angles on it. Sometimes like we have a song called Carnival of the Dam, and it's like more towards this really kind of haunted house theme, and then we go more towards like falling in love with a ghost, which is pretty straightforward on what's going on there, and you can look at that in different ways. The
Mm.
new music video, A Taste I Can't Deny, that's coming out next week,
Oh,
in one
okay.
week from today. So next Friday is the new single and new music video.
Mm.
This one's completely to do with also between this world of a relationship and not knowing if the relationship's going to fail, and then are we going to then grieve over what we had? Are we going to continue on as being angry with what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the maybe it's the death of a loved one, or maybe it's the death of the actual relationship itself. This kind of world, and that one's pretty straightforward on that. And the group of video team that did this video that's coming out, he brought in it's
Yeah.
someone for the first time that's outside of the bubble.
That yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I
Mm.
think like having to with this double album to like to put out singles after singles and music videos
Mm.
after music videos, it's just kind of impossible to just do everything on my own, and so we had
Right.
to look for great artists around here that would be onto like working for us, and so yeah, we worked with a young director called Jan Muller out
Okay.
of Bern here,
Mm.
and yeah, I think he did a great job.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
The
Mm.
actual cinematography of it is like it's awesome. And he took the concept, the lyrics, and actually took it even deeper into what its meaning was
yeah,
that I didn't even know was there
yeah,
fully.
yeah. No,
And he made it work
yeah.
so poetically. It's
Right.
awesome.
And
Hmm.
it's also like I think it's kind of an homage to like a lot of music
Yeah,
videos that we
yeah,
did. I don't even know if he did that on purpose,
yeah.
but I think it just flew into
I mean,
his
yeah, the
world.
car, we got the abyss.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
The old video
There's a
of
lot
the
of
forest.
us
Yeah,
in
a
that.
lot of,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he did amazing in this way.
Wow.
But yeah,
Mm. When you write your songs, are you, I don't know how to say it. Are you trying to convince like the audience of anything, or is just for your own benefit or self-interest, like self-aid, or you're writing
I've,
from your
yeah,
from the wounded side or from the
yeah,
healing side? I don't know. Where is that coming from? It's like just a escape valve. Uh,
yeah.
how do you?
It's 100%. It's 100% from, I guess, a lot of my life. I had a lot of trauma. I've had a lot of bullshit, and a
Okay.
lot of that comes out in a very personal way, almost like a diary. And
Okay.
I've always said that I know myself better through my speakers than I do myself. So
Mm.
like just thinking of the lyrics or thinking of what has happened, it's harder for me to encompass. But when I hear it back on a song, I kind of know where I'm at in life, right?
Okay.
When I started bringing it into Crime Vessel, like in a public domain, when he kind of pushed me into that, that he knows this. That the first thing I was freaked out about is how exposed I felt because I was
Of
doing
course.
this for such a personal reason, and like everything I was writing about was like a personal growth reason, almost
Right.
like therapy. And
Right.
it's still when I take stage, I feel naked. I feel like that dream that we all have when you get in a classroom when you're 7 years
Hmm.
old and like you're naked in the class and you're the only person there naked and everyone's looking at you. I
Right.
still feel like that every time I take stage. It
Now
is
I can never unthink
now you
that.
can he's on he's on a picture you're naked
Start
every
giving
show
myself.
now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
S-
So I I feel that way emotionally and like so the thing is though that's so cool about this is first off I don't give a shit about how big of a fan base we have. I don't because the
Right.
ones we do have, the fact they get it means
Right.
more to me than a million listeners because I
Yeah.
wrote a good pop hook. I do that
Right.
for a living with pop artists, okay? I know what it's like to write for the algorithm and write for Spotify.
Of course.
I go
Yes.
completely opposite with Crying Vessel for that reason. So when people actually relate to that, the connection I have with fans, the ones that come up to us and talk to us after the show saying how much it means to them, how
Right.
it's helped them through things. We have people saying that it literally helped them through like the death of their loved one and stuff, which it's like we write the music about that exact subject matter and the fact that they can listen to it and digest it. We had a guy told us that it helped him through COVID when he was
Mm.
like super depressed and like he just yeah his whole world fell apart financially and stuff and he said our album got him through that. This is the stuff right here. That's why I write the music. Okay.
Mm.
And like I feel like if I'm doing it for myself and then someone else is helping,
Right.
I've done my purpose.
Of
That's
course.
I'm not a
Yeah.
public speaker, so to speak, but I
You're not a, you don't want to be a preacher, but,
I don't want to be a preacher, but I mean it feels like if they
But
get but
but,
if
yeah.
they get the words I'm
Right.
throwing out, then I mean it so
Right.
yeah, and that's the magic of music. And to me, that's also the infinite reason for people connecting through music. And
Right.
if we're able to do that with Crying Vessel,
Yeah.
then our we're gonna keep doing it then.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna keep doing it for that reason. Like that's
yeah, and I think what we do is we really put like we take out our heart, put it into music, and just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
pull it out there, you
There
know?
you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
And if you like it, you like it. And if you
yeah.
understand it,
Yeah,
it means
you
a
know,
lot to us.
go
And if you
somewhere
don't,
else and listen to other musicians if you don't
yeah,
like it.
exactly, exactly.
So how are you guys on stage? Are you shy on stage?
Not once we take stage, no.
Nah.
I say once we take stage. I mean, once we take stage, we really try to own it. And what we've had to do, we've had to manipulate some things actually visually. First off, since we are into multimedia with video and stuff,
Right.
he does all the live visuals too. That's completely perfectly synced with our show. So like
Mm,
you watch a movie while watching us, which is cool. It's not
right.
Yeah, but we are up front, but
we're
in
up
the
front.
same time we are a little bit at the back
Yeah,
because there's the visual component of the
exactly.
show.
Yeah, I've seen videos like
So
that.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
he came up with this idea, which is a brilliant idea. Why don't you to move more? Because we're only two people, right? We got the
Right.
visual.
Behind you.
Why
Yeah.
don't you, in order to move more, because you got a guitar strapped to you and you're singing, get a microphone over by me. So what we do is we have two microphones now, and like
Hmm.
I'll sing a section to the audience
Yeah.
as they're watching and everything's loud and going. And then I will actually like run over to the drum kit, put my foot up on the kick drum and sing straight to him. So we have this connection for a
yeah.
minute.
Then we're this
And we
entity
have this
what to play.
entity,
Yeah,
and the kind of fan base sees it move over, and then they see it back to the stage set.
Right.
You know, you when you only had two people there, it's kind of like you only have so much you can work with. We've
Yeah.
purposely kept it to only two people too, even though I do like live bass on songs. We have live bass or we have synths. We could easily have a five-piece band if we wanted. Um,
Right.
but we purposely keep it in this futuristic, modern way. A lot of backtrack. The backtrack stuff is just super big. Our front of house guys are also our silent member of the band because he makes us sound absolutely amazing. Named Mishu. He's worked with us on the backtracks to make it just so powerful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've been compared to Nine Inch Nails live. Like that's a cool thing sonically,
Mm.
sonically.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
performance-wise because we don't have a band, but
Yeah.
sonically,
Yeah.
we've been told that at a few different shows by people that saw it. So that means a lot to me, you know, growing up in that era.
yeah.
So
I think live it's quite a wall
yeah,
that hits you in the face
yeah,
when we take stage. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
When you only like two people on stage, it's not too much places you can hide, you know.
Exactly.
That's true.
That's true too.
You
Yeah.
gotta. Do you talk between songs? Do you do like a little explaining, or you just play the whole thing until you're
We
done?
used to, yeah, we used to have more space between, and we had our label back at Wave Gothic Trap in 2017 that said you guys have too much space in between.
Yeah.
So then we went the other way and we make it very, like I said, cinematic, and it goes from song to song. And then I
Yeah.
purposely give myself maybe a one or two song gap that I say, thanks for coming out. I thank the
Okay.
crowd in the venue. And at the end,
Yeah.
I say, like, this is our last one. And like, we'll talk to you at the merch
Yeah,
booth.
but there's not
There's not much
there's not a
talking
lot of
otherwise.
Not
talking.
much
No,
talking.
no.
Not much
And you know
talking.
me, I like to talk. I'm talking this whole time, but
No, no, no.
on stage, it's
On
opposite.
stage is different.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How long does it take you for you guys to set up your gear, more or less, on when you go on stage?
We've had
Is it
festivals where
fast?
what, 12 minutes we had to get everything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I mean this depends, but yeah,
Yeah.
the crazy thing is we are only a two-person band, but like at Wave Gothic, they were laughing because
that's a fun
we
story.
we were the only non-band there, but we had way more lines than
But
any of
like
the bands.
16 or
Yeah, we have
something.
16 to 18 lines that get ran because of all of our backtracks, the vocals, the live vocal,
Right.
live guitar, our drum kit, drums on top, our triggers. Like, so we come in there's they're like, oh, this will be the easy one, and then it's just like the whole console's full. So yeah, but now we've kind of minimized as much as we can. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we
No,
can set up real fast if we need to.
yeah. And we have a as you said a great third member.
Yep.
Our front of house
Mm.
guy is really awesome. He's a fucking professional in
Yeah,
every way.
yeah.
So yeah, he
He runs a studio too, so he's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he sees studio and live, and yeah, Mishu's awesome.
yeah.
So
So when you guys compose a song, is it more like a free form, like improvisation, or is more like some fixed elements that you want to put in the
Hey,
com
this depends on
yeah,
the song, depends on the day. We did like songs where something like terrible happened the day before, and then we said,
Hmm.
okay, well, fuck, this happened, and now we have to
yeah.
let's make a song about this.
A
And
helping
then
hand.
a helping hand, yes.
Yeah, a guy actually like committed, he unalived himself
Okay.
It's not
outside our window.
yeah.
Like we lit, yeah, there we
Oh,
were. I live in
fuck.
front of a river, and like
Yeah.
the cops came and stuff, and then they're like dragging his lifeless body out of the
Oh
water.
my goodness.
And we were in the middle of working on this album, and we literally did it as like a homage, like
Yeah.
a tribute to him.
Yeah.
And
That's
we don't know the
yeah.
guy, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no. But that
Right.
it sounds surreal, but that
Yeah.
actually happened. So the lyrics came out like bleh, and we already had the song kind of, you know.
Yeah. And that's a helping hand. But the other songs,
Yeah.
sometimes we just start. I mean, we have a song on the new double album that is like I woke up someday and I had a message of Slade on my phone. He said, "Hey, yo, dude, hey, can you send me like a beat like you know just play it on your desk or something?" And I replied to him, "Yeah, I played like."
Hmm.
And recorded that and sent it back to him and I was like, okay, yeah, dude, this like does this
Yeah.
work? And yeah,
I didn't tell him.
and then I come, hey, look, I have this like demo. And he shows me, yeah, look, I did this out of this, and then like there's this like intro to a track that we wrote together later on.
Right.
That's like, yeah, it's on the album. So exactly,
It's literally our WhatsApp. Yeah,
WhatsApp conversation.
it's like in hip hop, you got the skits.
Yeah,
Oh,
We actually
okay.
put it on this album.
Yeah.
So the track starts with the WhatsApp I sent him. He didn't know though. So for
Oh,
people
shit.
watching this, he literally had no idea when I asked him to do that. That was not for the album.
Oh
So,
man.
yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
You fans have a lot of fun with. I'm thinking like if Stapleton it's like it writes stuff on a paper and comes in the morning and shows it to you. And it's like, this is what I wrote yesterday. What the fuck do you write? What the fuck is this? I don't understand. Can you explain
Yeah,
it to me?
yeah, pretty much. It goes back and forth that way.
Goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
another good thing is not having a band. You don't have to argue with too many people. You know,
true. Yeah.
less people to argue with.
True.
yeah, yeah, that is true. Yeah, we can just handle
Yeah.
ourselves, and
Yeah.
So, Slade, do you consider yourself a better singer or a better songwriter?
Oh man.
oh, what a question.
Well, I always personally hate my voice most of the
You hate your
time.
voice?
So yeah, I'm one of those.
Um,
Most singers are actually until you get like effects on it, and then you feel like, oh, it's not me enough that I can enjoy it a little bit more. But yeah, so I can't say I'm an amazing singer. I mean, like and I also can't say that I'm an amazing songwriter. So it's kind of like I don't know.
no,
I
but
mean,
I kind of disagree because I think you have amazing control over your voice. You know,
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
sit in the studio when I'm recording you singing, I can really like tell you nuances of what your voice should sound
true.
to this track,
You help me a
and
lot.
you're amazing in adapting your voice, and I think that makes you a great singer. You know
yeah. I
that.
think you're a great singer. Come on,
Oh, dude, yeah, no one's
you
ever
are.
told me that, believe it or not. So like that
You
actually
are a
means a lot.
good. You are a
Never
great
even heard that.
producer. You are everything, but you're a great
Oh,
singer also. I
man,
believe.
thank you, guys. I've actually never have been told that, so like I don't even know how to respond to
I
that.
know you are.
So,
You are.
but
You
that's
are
actually like
good.
my weakest feeling is like I don't know about the singing, but
Oh man, you're doing great.
yeah. He does help a lot in the studio though, because he's like producing me while I sing. Like in that room, I do the vocals in that room, and he
Okay.
sets her, and he can kind of get the best out of me in that situation too. Yeah, emotionally and yeah. But anyhow, so that's a hard question. That's an amazing question. No one's ever asked me that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Songwriting, I think, is a bit more natural for me because I just do it as a career. I'm songwriting for pop artists all the time, rock bands, goth bands,
Right.
dance music, stuff like that, techno. I'm always constantly songwriting. The vocal
Right.
thing for me, it takes a lot more effort and like soul in a way.
Hmm. What
So
about instruments? Which instrument you think you're more prolific playing? Keys,
guitar, I would
guitar,
synth maybe, synth
synth.
maybe, sound design and synth.
Sound design,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
guitar wise, I'm a lot like Robert Smith in the way that I don't play a lot of notes. I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not busy, and I was like I said, trained with jazz and stuff, which is very busy. Um,
Right.
but when I was 7 or 8 years old, my mom said you sound like Robert Smith, and at that time I didn't even know who The Cure was.
Yes.
Like I just, and she said you play like Robert Smith, which is one of her favorite bands, and I was like, who is that? Like, and who's that, mama?
Rob.
And it's funny because as I progress, I rely a lot more on my effects. I rely a lot more on the way that the guitar meets the synths and the
Mm-hmm.
way that this single note texture is actually going to work melodically than I
Right.
am on, hey, I can do an amazing pentatonic scale and like I'm so skilled like as a guitarist. That's not me.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Can you read music?
I can read tablature,
Oh,
Okay.
but
you
yeah,
can.
yeah, I can read tablature on guitar and stuff. But yeah, and then I play bass too, and
Okay.
bass comes across naturally in a weird way because it's single note stuff too with me. I'm not like doing
No.
Right.
Victor Wooten style like slap or anything. But I would say synth is probably my strength just because of I can hear in octaves really well to know the textures that can go into the songwriting.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I would
Mm.
say that's probably my strongest instrument.
Mm.
Mm. So what about you, Basil? Besides playing the drums, would you try to play any other instruments if you had to?
He sang.
Or
Learned
you,
that one today.
you need we need a backup singer, I
Yeah,
guess. So maybe
I have.
maybe if Slade has to run out of the stage for some reason, maybe you can take over for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think what in what we differentiate is like I don't know. You once told me, yeah, I don't listen to music in my free time. You said, oh,
Yeah.
and that's something that I do
Okay.
all the time. I
True. He
mean,
brings a lot of
I
that.
when
Yeah.
I go out of the studio right now, like it's music, and I listen to music all the time.
True.
And I think
Mm.
that's also something that helps me a lot with working with Slade because I just kind of know how things should go, and
Mm.
so that's where my feedback also
Yeah.
comes from. And yeah, I have some analog synths at
Mhm.
home. I'm trying to learn. Yeah, unfortunately, I never really like learned to play the piano when I was a kid, so that's a big regret.
Right.
So, but I mean, yeah, the basics. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, it really depends on how I am with work and stuff going on in my life that I'm more time on doing um or playing like instruments that I like that are not the drums.
Right.
Um, but
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So.
Mm. You guys also have been working with different music labels,
Yeah.
Cleopatra, Manic Depression, Cold Transmission from
Mhm.
different countries, I guess. Cold Transmission from Germany, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're awesome, yeah. They're
Yeah.
so it's an interesting thing with that because I mean coming from the industry on the music industry side as a profession too, I know a lot of people on
Right.
labels and stuff. And also like I kind of know how it all functions and like I kind of know the good ones to be with and stuff. And all the labels we've been with have been amazing. I have no regrets at all with any of them.
Hmm.
Mag Depression was absolutely amazing. JL over at Manic is just he's a rock star, amazing label there.
Right.
Cleopatra and Brian Pereira, that was actually surprising when he came. He came to ask us for a remix personally. I knew Cleopatra growing up because of Gary Newman and all the people
Yeah.
they worked with,
Yeah.
Iggy Pop and all these bands, Flock of Seagulls,
Motorhead, yeah,
Motorhead.
yeah.
More. Yeah.
I actually grew up knowing that label really well, and I was on my honeymoon in 2019, and he hit me up asking for a remix. I thought it was fake. I thought someone like was trying to rip me off, saying, "Hey, I'm a
Couldn't
fan of
believe
Crime
it.
Vessel. Would you want to do a remix?" And
Yeah.
then I realized this was actually him. I looked at the email and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Brian. It's the CEO." um,
Yeah.
asking us for this. So we did the remix the second I got back, and then I pitched the album to him, and he immediately signed on. We were on a 2 album deal with that we finished, and then we moved to Cold Transmission, which, funny enough, was actually the first label to bring us to Cologne to play a show for their label showcase before we were actually on their label. And this is in
Right.
2016 or 2017. We were with Mag Depression at the time. Mag Depression, JL came from France to see the show.
Mm.
We hung out with him and also Cold Transmission. Then through the years, we stayed in touch behind the scenes. I was doing mastering for Manic Depression. I was also doing some stuff with some Cold Transmission bands. We were also bringing some other acts there through the industry, and we did a song on their compilation. We always
Yeah.
stayed in touch with Susie and
Yeah,
Andreas, and
they had to wait a bit for us, but now finally we yeah.
they had because they in their heads they always were like they'll come back around if they want
Yeah.
to be, you know? And that's kind of and then what happened was when we had this new album concept and stuff, we were like, we've been through all of it now and we've gone to different territories. When we talk to Cleopatra, we decide we're over here in Europe and it's best to come back to Europe for a
Right.
label.
Mm.
Because on the American label, it's great if we could tour there more. And it's very hard with visas and everything else. And I mean, it would make more sense. So I came with the idea with him, the Cold Transmission. They came down here and met with us.
That's the thing. They're like in one part they're so like I mean we like each other
Yeah.
like since
Yeah.
way back, and
Right.
they have and we have stayed faithful to each other
Yeah.
even if we have not like worked together with a contract or for the albums.
Right.
But like this like base of trust really made what like made us really want to sign
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
So you're always trying to get along with all of them, you know, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no bad
Whatever.
blood with anyone in the industry, actually.
No.
I mean, no.
Yeah. You guys get, like I said, they keep me busy. I've been listening to your albums. That the first one, A Beautiful Chorus. I think that was
Yep.
the 2017 album.
Exactly, yeah.
I listened to that one.
There's three before, but those are the ones I was saying are like experimental era.
Okay.
And it's funny because the new album kind of pulls from some of this older vibe that him and I first talked about Crime Vessel. But for anyone watching this, I would say A Beautiful Curse is like the true Crime Vessel of what we are now, and not just like me in a room coming up with concepts of what Crime Vessel could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I listened to the three albums that I listened to were like Pleasures for the Wicked,
Wicked.
right?
Wicked.
And was it the last one before Life Was Death? Was that
Yeah.
the last one, right? You guys
Yeah,
published.
exactly. Yep.
That's the one. And the EP Illusions. I listened to that.
Yeah,
one.
Illusions EP. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
so Before Life Was Death, and After Life, what we have? There is what? After Death?
Then now we got the new ones.
No. I'm just saying
That was the
because
question.
Oh.
that album is
Before
Before
Life-
Life Was Death, and now I'm saying
This is
After
a-
Life, what we have? Death?
But
Look,
it-
this is a cool thing about that album title. It
Yeah,
all
because
takes
it's a
place with the
cool album
punctuation.
title.
With the punctuation. Before life
Yeah.
was death. So death before life, right?
Yeah.
But before life was death or became death. So it can mean both things. Life became death, or before life was actually death before life, reincarnation in a way. So that's we played off that. And
yeah, it's a cool
how you say it.
title. That's why I'm like, you know.
So once
But-
again, we really write most of the stuff lyrically and conceptual wise to be an allegorical term. And like we really thrive on that. And everything that's lyrical or the subject matter or the video matter, the visual matter, or even our album titles usually have multiple meanings. And we
Right.
really focus on that in a poetic sense.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But to answer your question, after
Yeah.
death comes life.
Becomes life, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Whatever you say.
He knows. He figured it out
You
for
know,
all of us.
I don't know. That was so easy. I had no idea.
There took you as a spiritual type. That's what.
Oh man, thousands of years, and you just came up with the
Yeah,
answer.
like what?
After that, there is life. Okay.
Amazing. Told you. I told you. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, all your albums, they all express some kind of certain narrative, I guess, or like a theme, right? It has a unified theme. It's like you said, they're all concept albums. For you, you enjoy doing that, right? It's not like
Yeah, we love it. I mean, coming from the film side, I think, and then also the lyrical poetic side.
Yeah.
Like
That's what flows
it's
out.
just what comes out. It gives us inspiration, and just to stay on it.
yeah. So what's coming up next? Those two albums are coming in 2025. Are they completely finished? They all
Done.
Done.
they're
Yeah.
done? You don't have to
We got
touch
2 more
anything?
singles. Yeah, no, 2 more singles coming. And then we have
2 more singles.
2 more singles. We'll have a pre-order launch in, I think, January.
pre-order launch.
Pre-order launch.
January. Yeah.
And then we're going to do like a live
listening party.
listening party with both albums on our Bandcamp through the label. So anyone watches too, they're fans. They if they buy the album on a pre-order, they'll actually come and set with us live and listen with it, which would be cool. And then it's actually out in February fully as vinyl,
February.
CD, and digital.
The best way to keep up with what we're doing and like keep up with all the infos is just following us on Instagram. I think that's our main channel where we.
Thanks to him. I'm an old man with this Instagram stuff and social, so I rely on him to keep us.
You don't.
You're not
But
that
you-
much
we
older
can
than
also-
I am, I just look young. No?
He keeps me young.
He looks young. He looks like a fucking teenager. I don't know what the
Yeah,
hell is
oh,
going
wow,
on with you.
Thank you.
Man,
Did.
that's why he knows after that you're never gonna die. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also Bandcamp, because I seen some merchandise there. You can buy your albums over there, right? And Bandcamp, right? You got some
Yeah,
stuff.
you can buy some of the physical stuff. We've ran out of some T-shirts and stuff. We even went as far as having tarot deck that we made that never
Oh,
came out, but we're still thinking about making
Yeah.
cool stuff. It was awesome though. I have one at home actually. It's really cool.
Yeah.
We even had
I
our
think
own tarot
production is a
cards
bit
and stuff.
too expensive.
Yeah,
Put that
production was
out,
a bit too expensive for that. But yeah, so we love having like this kind of physical world things too. So yeah, but you can get the vinyl CDs there. Uh, yeah, and some stuff. I think there's still some
I
CDs from
think
the older ones.
we have to talk about that.
Yeah, we need to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
redoing the merchandise.
because
Yeah,
we have 2 albums coming out. I think we should redo the merch.
true.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's good.
Of course.
See, now you
Yeah.
guys are
What the
part of our
heck are you
discussion.
guys doing? You gotta start doing something. Okay, you guys
Now you get to
busy.
see part of our business talk here. So,
Yeah, you got a lot of. You still got a lot of things to talk about. Seems like
yeah.
regarding the new albums, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot. I mean, 20 songs too, and like two
Yeah.
album. And if you notice too, like the cool thing with our press shots is between which album we're promoting the next single for, our
Mm.
image changes. We have like a two press shot thing going on. So the marketing has also been back and forth. Um, it's interesting. This whole thing is a new experience
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I mean, I've
Mm.
never seen anyone do two albums at the same time released, two separate.
There
So
was I think
Probably
some
there
French band that
happened, but I mean,
I don't remember that they
yeah.
published
So it's
albums.
hard, but I'm saying it's hard to see that a lot of people have done this before and how they did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like treading new waters here and just like, hell if I know. I mean, like
Yeah.
we got darker marketing here, lighter marketing here. Like, let's do this and this. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
have fun with
Well,
it.
I'll be listening to that, and I will keep an eye on you guys, see what the hell you're doing. And if you ever come to, come to New Jersey, maybe there is like what is it, Dark Fest in Jersey, I think.
Yeah, there is a festival there. I played in New Jersey with another band, Dead Astronauts, back in
R-
2016. I
Right.
think it was, and it was a synthwave festival that they had there, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I think it's
So yeah,
spring. I don't
yeah,
remember.
they got some cool stuff going on there. But
Yeah.
yeah, we want to go to the US. We want to get over there. We almost had a tour once. His visa was impossible.
Hmm.
And now I don't know if that's ever going to be possible with what, but we're going to see. But we would
Well,
love to. And we had a booker even already hit us up.
Yeah, I think we've
Yeah,
evolved also as a band, and I
yeah.
think it might be easier. It was at the very
Very
beginning
beginning.
when we started working
No press or
together, no
anything.
press or no
Yeah.
like nothing to really prove that I'm part of the band. I think
True.
now that really changed.
True.
So
They
I
have
think
to see. So they said they gave us all these forms, and they have to prove that the person's in the band, that they can be on their own visa, like all this stuff.
yeah.
And yeah,
yeah. Well,
now it's pretty obvious.
now you got all the proper IDs, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't, you won't have any problems, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Also, you could write a lot of songs now regarding the, whatever is happening in the US. Maybe you can start.
There's one on
It's
the main.
a lot of stuff you
There's
can
one on
write
the main
about.
album. You guys can decide which song that is that was about all this.
Yeah,
There's one song on there that was about
there
all of
is.
this. We wrote a year before it. But yeah, so
Oh, okay. I'll
the
try to
whole political
decipher
climate.
which
You
one
can
it
fit,
is then.
it's pretty obvious when you when you see the track name, but yeah.
Okay. So, I really enjoy talking to you guys. Like I said, I only started listening to you like 2.5, 3 months ago. It was like a big surprise. I like, I don't know who the hell these guys are. It's a duo, duo, Darkwave. I like that. So we'll see what happens. Let me take a look. It was great. I mean, you guys keep me busy. Sometimes I'm like, I listen to bands, I like a bunch of songs, but I forget about them soon. After like some weeks, I'm like, I'm into something else. But with you guys, it seems like I'm gonna keep watching you and seeing what you guys are doing because,
Well, thank you,
I
man.
really enjoy. I really enjoy your albums and those lyrics.
Thank
Uh,
you so much, man. That
there's so
means so
much
much. To us.
in common with things that I have in here. So
Yeah.
like you
Thanks,
say,
man.
it makes me feel good sometimes when
Thank
I
you.
listen.
Thank you, man. That's
So that's
awesome.
a good thing. That I enjoy
Thank you.
listening. So what can I say? I just wish you all the best. Uh, musically and professionally and everything. And keep making good music and being authentic. That's one important thing.
Thanks so
Thank you
And
much,
so much.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
and
thanks
if
for
I
having
had a
if
great
you
time.
guys keep, you look like a really nice, connection between the two of you. So.
us. People are starting getting ideas. That's what's gonna happen. People are like, are those two?
No, I don't. I know you got a wife. You got that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're married, right? I don't know
Well,
about.
yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
about.
Yeah.
I don't know about Basil. I have no idea.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
but
really. I don't
you have
really
to wonder
care
about this
anyway.
guy. This
That's it.
guy.
It doesn't matter to me as long as you make good music. You can do whatever the hell you want. That's my thing. But
Awesome.
you know, you guys looks like you got you got a good connection. Where there's something that keeps you together. You know, the band and the project. So that's a good thing. You know.
Thank you. Hey,
So
thanks a lot. Yeah.
just want to wish you all the best, and maybe we'll talk again if you guys want to. You know, we could
Yeah, for
talk
sure.
about
Hit us up.
next
Yeah, hit
next
us up
year.
anytime.
You know, you can tell me about what's going on with you guys. If you are playing some crazy, you don't know, maybe you go to Turkey and play there. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? So
Yeah.
whatever happens, you know, this guy, I would like to just
Yeah, that's awesome.
keep in touch with you
That's
guys
awesome.
and see what
Sounds
you're
good.
doing.
Thank you
You
so
know.
much.
Thanks so much,
All
man.
right.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
thanks, and we'll see you again next week. And you know, I said this, but it's true. Next interview is not going to be as good as this, so just keep watching this one. You know, I cannot do anything better than this. This is it. See you guys next week if you want to. I'll be around. I'll be around. Going nowhere. Thank you. Take care.